headache yesterday. Just because it was so intense. I almost didn't work out, but I will have you know, I did get to the gym.
Oh my goodness. So what Lucas is referring to, if you guys are just tuning in, we went and we checked out Daydreams and Nightmares out in Modesto. It's 1219 7th Street. And they have the costumes and they have a lot of stuff in there, right? And one of the things about Daydreams and Nightmares for us is I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
I didn't either. And, you know, I wouldn't say that I'm a skeptic. But, you know, I go in and I'm like, okay, let's see what's going on here.
Yeah, so as soon as you walk in, one of the things about Daydreams and Nightmares is that it used to be a funeral home. So they go...
Up until like 5 years ago. Like,
recent.
Yeah, like when she got the building, they had bodies in there like the day before she got the building.
Yeah, definitely. There was still blood stains on the floor.
Yeah, no, it's insane.
You know, there was a lot going on. And so they were going through and they were telling us about a lot of the paranormal activity that goes through there. And so they have people that come through, like Grave Desires, paranormals. So with that, I don't know if some of you have seen like Ghost Hunters or, you know, Kendra Wilkinson.
Yep.
From Girls Next Door. She actually has gone there and did her podcast.
Yeah, that was crazy. It was crazy.
And there was another one where there's like this creepy phone call. And while we were even in there's some stuff that happened. I mean,
the shutters were moving.
The shutters were moving.
Wind. There was no wind there was like up against a cement wall.
The glass case, display case started shaking and they started telling us about their stories in certain places while you're walking through. There was a what is it called?
Crematory.
Yes. So they were going there, and you can walk. And I was like, "Hey, is the AC on in here?" And they're like, "No."
Well, because when paranormal activity's happening, it's always colder. Like that's like the room goes cold, right?
Yeah.
When there's spirits in the
house.
I
was like walking through. I'm like, it is freezing in.
Yeah, you asked if the AC was on.
Yeah, and they're like, no. But so besides the paranormal stuff, their costume collection was ridiculous. I wanted to play around and dress up, but we were there for serious spiritual business.
But I didn't even know it was going to be like that. Like, I really didn't think that I would, I didn't think that I'd break down and cry. And I was crying, like, uncontrollably. And it came out of nowhere. I was like, what the heck's going on? Why am I crying?
So Gaylene was our medium.
Medium, yeah.
Yeah, our medium. And right off the bat, she started reading Lucas. Said it
was an open book.
Yeah, you know, you flow. And for the difference between Lucas and I, you know, with our past, I haven't, you know, experienced a lot of loss in my life.
Yeah, but I've experienced a lot of death.
Right. So we started with Lucas. Also, he was on a time restraint. So we started with Lucas and we had the recorder in the room. Not only did we have the recorder in the room for what we were doing, but I do think we should have to listen to it back later to see if anything...
Yeah, does he still have a copy of that?
I hope so. Yeah, so we can listen. Because one of the examples they showed us was voices being heard that we couldn't necessarily hear with our ears.
Yeah.
That you could hear over the phone. But Gaylene is going into the reading and we're recording. And one of the first things that got Lucas was when she said Massachusetts.
Yeah. I was like, how the heck did she know about Massachusetts? Because I there's very few people that know anything about my time in Massachusetts. And
Lucas looked directly at me and I said, huh? And I was like, I want to be as quiet as possible because I want to know too. There's a lot of people that are skeptics.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That are like, oh, you know, they can question everything. Oh, you're hinting at it, or they're pulling, or they're throwing things out in the air.
I didn't speak really.
You did not speak really.
I purposely did not speak or share much information about myself. She mentioned my youngest son's name as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there were certain things that were coming up, and Lucas looked right at me. Can we talk about? I mean, we're talking about.
Yeah.
And so while it's recording, everybody has different triggers. And that's what she was saying too. She was like, we don't know how we're going to react depending on whatever is going on, whether you believe or you don't. And I say that again, whether you believe or you don't, everybody has different experience. And as soon as she mentioned your father.
Yeah.
And she had said that he had came through. And as she's talking, there's this meter in front. And there's like from green to red. So green, yellow, orange, red. And that meter is supposed to be able to track activity that's coming into the room. And there were certain points that when things were said, of course, it started going off.
Yeah, it went really red.
It was going really red. So when that happened, it was a very personal moment for us. And because I know you, that what she was saying was like, it was like, the takeaway from as soon as she mentioned your dad, it was to me almost like closure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because my relationship with my dad is interesting. We were close, but I never saw him. And when I got married, and the stuff that I regret the most, and when I encourage people to do, is just never lose sight of your family. And when I got married, I put my wife at the time, I put her family ahead of my family. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have, like, the last Christmas I spent with my dad was 2000. He passed away in 2009. Mm-hmm. And the last time I saw my dad was at my wedding in 2003. And he passed away in 2009. So even though we talked all the time, I never saw him. So when she brought that up, it was just, it was pretty intense.
Yeah. And, one of the things that as soon as she brought that up, it was just like instant. Boom. Yeah. Energy in the room shifted. Everything changed. I knew that she had struck that chord.
And I didn't expect to be crying. No. I really didn't. I didn't go in thinking I would cry. I even when we first sat down and talked, I did not expect to have that emotional moment. I couldn't control it. I couldn't stop.
Yeah, and it was flowing. And then, of course, out of respect, because we still wanted to experience what was going to happen next, because we didn't know what was coming through. She was like, kind of like, some stuff is coming off of you. She didn't even know my name. She's like, some stuff is coming off of you, but hold on, we're still finishing with Lucas. So we end up turning off the recorder just because it got
super intense.
It got super intense because both of us didn't know what was going to be said next. And then after that, some things that we're not going to discuss were actually said about both of us.
That nobody else knew.
Yeah. And so, again, whether you believe or you don't, it still was an experience, because if you're a non-believer, you're interested, right?
Like, you want to find out. You want to find out what they have to say.
And if you are a believer, that's something that kind of is satisfying and fulfilling. I see why a lot of people go to these locations, and especially around Halloween, and and they want to contact, because we always want to think that we're not alone. Right? Like, there has to be something after. There has to be something other than where we are.
This is not as good as it gets.
Right. This can't be all we're here for. Yeah. So again, big shout out to Daydreams and Nightmares, to Dana over there, to Gaylene. Now,
they're great people too.
Amazing. Very, very knowledgeable. Anything you're really interested in, they have it. Also the costumes and just all of that. They're really amazing. But one of the things is that if you are interested in, kind of beyond Halloween, tapping into these things, Gaylene actually, she goes to the Turlock Expo, and they have over 80 vendors and around like 3,000 people attend. And she's going to be there, and that's who did our reading.
Yeah, she was fantastic.
That's who, she did our reading, and that's like January 18th. So if you're interested in that as well, she's who contacted us. It was, I got a phone call after. The reading happened, then I was told I had to call her back. That's because there was just some things that had to be discussed. But again,
that's intense.
It was intense. It's intense. Yeah. Again, whether you believe or you don't believe, it's still an experience. So I want to say thank you. I would go again.
I would go again too, in a heartbeat.
I would go again. Yeah.
I have a few more questions too, because it was like one of those things where I was so blown away. It was like, and then when I left, it's like, oh God, I wish I'd asked some questions. It just, my mind went when she'd asked. She said, "Do you have any questions?" Like, at that time, I was so emotional, and my mind was blank.
And again, they have so much, and right now, especially because Halloween, it's around this time. If you're looking for somewhere to go, you need costumes, or you just want to be in that environment, they do the full little tour of all of it. If you're into the paranormal, if you're into all of that. So Daydreams and Nightmares, you guys are amazing. Thank you again. And
you got blessed after you left.
I had to. I did. Yes. I'm sorry. If you are in, hold on. Disclaimer. If you believe, then you get blessed before you go in, and you get blessed when you leave. And I said that before I walked through those doors. I am into it. Okay? I believe. And I was not leaving with nobody. I told them, I said, listen here, I know some stuff went down in there. And I go, my dad is going to be so mad at me if I don't protect myself before I go in there. And thank
goodness, I wasn't looked at like I was crazy, because you and Jeff ended up going, oh yeah, me too. Better safe than sorry. I was over here like, no, get off of me. Don't come home with me. I'm not. I named my dog Onyx to ground me. I was like, no.
I don't want any spirits or bugs coming home with me.
No, you stay where you're at.
Yeah, exactly.
97.7, 98.3. KWIN.